Standing in the wake of this train wreck, my heart is beating faster in my chest. This depression terrifies me. When I'm awake, it's like these thoughts, they paralyze me. I don't wanna feel like this. I don't wanna feel like this. Time stops, weightless and cold. Silence burns like fire while my fears unfold. There's panic. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drain to air. Life feels unfair without you. Come back to me. Don't leave me to dream about you. Dream about you. Dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? Without you. What is left to say when the sky falls? I'm staring at your ghost in the stars. There's not a day that I don't miss you. The feeling swelling overflow. It's like I see you, hear you. I don't wanna feel like this. Why do I still feel like this? Heart ripped out of my brain. I sit here talking to myself. I think I'm going insane. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drain to air. Life feels unfair without you. Come back to me. Don't leave me to dream about you. Dream about you. Dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? The only way to fix this, the only way to fix this pain inside, the only way to fix this is a deep breath in as you say
I kick ass for the Lord.
What about me?
I never loved him the way that I love you. Just drops the mic.
Bit me with his butt.
Can't see it from here.
What about the panty?
What about the panty? What's up, Butters? What's up? How's your tummy?
Hello. It's good. it's still fragile.
It's still a fragile tummy. Well, I hope everybody else's tummies are doing well on this Wednesday. And want to welcome you all to 52/1993, the live movie conversation podcast, where we discuss movies from the year 1993. Typically, we do this on Sundays, but that's okay. Sometimes sickness prevails, and we have to reschedule things. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, every now and then you get explosive diarrhea on a Sunday afternoon, but
Diarrhea forever.
diarrhea.
Well, now that we've already talked about diarrhea, let me tell you a little bit more about me. I am your host, Cody, and I'm joined by my co-host this week, Spencer. If this is your first time joining us, welcome in. We are so happy for you to join us today. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up, we basically watch 52 movies from the year 1993 in order of the movies that they're released this year, just important movies based on their weekend releases. Doesn't matter if they're good, doesn't matter if they're bad. We usually just talk about them, have fun, have some categories that we go through, ask some questions, and then see what each other's watching at the end of it. It's basically the premise for this whole thing.
And Cody, can you believe the year is almost over?
The year is almost over. We have, 8 movies left? 9 movies left?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
Feels like we just started.
I know. It seems like it's just now getting good. It's probably what it is.
Hey, you got to find your footing, right?
You got to find your footing. You're right. And just a heads up to everybody, if you want to listen to any of these, you can always watch these videos on YouTube. You can, I think, look it up under 52/ is the account name. You can also, this is a fun fact, go on Spotify and look up the 52/1993 podcast. I think if you type that in, you should be able to get there. All of our episodes have been uploaded there. So they all, 42 of them are up there now, including a bonus episode about Quentin Tarantino. So go there, check it out, however you want to get it. If you are new here and you like what you see, or maybe you don't like what you see, give us a follow. We're trying to get that follower count up there. So give us a follow, and we'll do this more and more. The more followers we get, and maybe do more bonus episodes, things like that. We plan on doing this for 1994 as well. And there's endless content that we are going to be providing. So hopefully you like what you see. And just to give you a little taste of this, we'll go ahead and introduce our movie for this week. Today's movie is Mrs. Doubtfire. If you haven't already been able to tell from the title of this podcast or anything, or Spencer with his Mrs. Doubtfire impression at the beginning of
this is spot on. I mean, how can you not?
Help is on the way, dear.
We'll get to some quotes.
We'll get to some quotes. But anyway, this movie came out 30 years ago, soon, November 24th, 1993. It was directed by Chris Columbus, who is known for movies like Adventures in Babysitting, Home Alone, the first 2 Harry Potter films that came out. So he's got some experience.
Discovering America.
Yeah, that's a thing that he did. And also took advantage of the indigenous people that lived here, but that's another podcast. This movie was written by Randy Mayhem Singer and Leslie Dixon. It's actually based on a novel called Madame Doubtfire by Anne Fine. The cast for this movie includes Robin Williams as Daniel Hillard / Mrs. Doubtfire, Sally Field as Miranda Hillard, Pierce Brosnan as Stu Dunmire, Harvey Fierstein as Frank Hillard, Polly Holliday as Gloria Cheney, Lisa Jacob as Lydia Hillard, Matthew Lawrence as Chris Hillard, Mara Wilson as Natty Hillard, Robert Prosky as Jonathan Lundy.
Love Robert Prosky.
Love him. He's wonderful. Anne Haney as Mrs. Sellner, Martin Mull as Justin Gregory, and Scott Capurro as, I have him listed here as Aunt Jack, which I think is a very funny line in this movie. Let me give you a little synopsis before we break into this. Troubled that he has little access to his children, divorced Daniel Hillard hatches an elaborate plan. With help from his creative brother Frank, he dresses as an older British woman and convinces his ex-wife Miranda to hire him as a nanny. Mrs. Doubtfire wins over the children and helps Daniel become a better parent. Debatable. But when both Daniel and his nanny persona must meet different parties at the same restaurant, his secrets may be exposed. This movie had a budget of $25 million and it grossed $441.3 million. It's the number 2 movie at the box office this year, sitting only behind Jurassic Park. So very interesting there. Rotten Tomatoes has a score of 70% on this. IMDb has it at 7.1 out of 10. Letterboxd score is 3.6 out of 5. Couple reviews for you. Roger didn't love this movie. Roger Ebert did not love this movie that much. He said the film is not as amusing as the premise, and there were long stretches when I'd had quite enough of Mrs. Doubtfire. He gave it 2, even though it's a little bit over average. He gave it a 2.5 out of 4.
Huh.
So interesting take there from Roger. And then Rita Kempley from the Washington Post said, "You will laugh till your ribs ache." Not because director Chris Columbus of the Home Alone movies has a gift for farce, which he does, but because Williams is too funny what the Energizer Bunny is to batteries. He keeps going and going and going. So that's a nice little review. This movie was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Makeup, or it actually won the award for Best Makeup. And it also, just to give you a little more, Golden Globe, Robin Williams was nominated for Best Actor in a comedy, or he might have won. He did win. He won for Best Actor in a comedy at Golden Globe, and this movie won Best Comedy Movie at the Golden Globes. And then also there has been a Mrs. Doubtfire musical that has been put out in the last few years and has been kind of a political thing that's come out because it's a man dressing up as a woman, and some states don't like that. So she's had kind of a resurgence, this Mrs. Doubtfire.
Jeez, I think that that second review that you read really was spot on, because I think Robin Williams made this movie, and all of those accolades, were well deserved for him.
I agree. I think this movie was a huge part of my childhood. I assume it was a huge part of your childhood as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robin Williams, I mean, between this and Aladdin, and from everything that I've ever read about him or heard about him, like, he just riffs and goes off, and basically they have to rewrite the movie around Robin Williams just because he's going, in all these different places with his jokes and stuff. So he almost deserves an award just for that.
Yeah, I think this was only, and maybe why it did have such an impact on me as a fan of Robin Williams' work. I think it was only the second movie that I was exposed to Robin Williams. The first one being Jumanji. So
okay,
he did have a prominent role in there. It was a little different though, not as kind of improv and in your face as this. And then I don't know if before or after was Flubber. not a great example of his work, but still. And then you had this. So.
And what about Jack?
Jack came later. Yeah, I think that one came later because that one was sad, right?
Well, it's about a man that's 10 years old that looks like he's 50.
Oh no, I don't guess I've seen that. Then I'm thinking about, what's the one where he's a doctor and a clown?
Oh, Patch Adams.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay. That one was sad, right?
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, he's a doctor and kids are dying and people are dying around him, and he's just trying.
He made it funny though.
Oh yeah, he's just trying to make their last few days on Earth a little bit better by being funny for them, because laughter's good medicine, So I'm trying to think if there's anything else from my childhood that would have been Robin Williams as so this kind of, I want to say that this kind of catapults him into more family comedies, because he didn't really do too many up until this. He did a lot more dramedies, Good Morning Vietnam, Dead Poet Society, definitely not a comedy there. World According to Garp. He's had a few of these like dramas that he's kind of lightened up in, or he's also known for, Mork and Mindy and all that stuff too. So
was Mrs. Doubtfire before or after Jumanji, Patch Adams, Flubber?
oh, Mrs. Doubtfire is before all those movies.
Okay, that's what I thought. So you're right.
Yeah.
It did
Yeah, I
definitely
think
catapulted him into that.
Yeah, which is so I consider this a family movie. Even at the time, I watched it a lot when I was a child. It's a PG-13 movie, and it deals with after watching it, now with older eyes, like it deals with divorce and children of divorce and unemployment and all these like very heavy issues, and I never got that when I was a kid. Like, I guess I understood divorce a little bit, but not as much as I realized after watching it again, that I was like, oh, this movie's a little bit different than I remember.
Yeah, it's definitely a different watch as you get. I got kind of emotional in parts. I didn't cry because I'm not a little. Well, I can't say it. My son might be watching, but
your son is watching.
But yeah, I thought that it was. It had some emotional parts. I really thought so, and maybe it's just kind of relatable more than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Watching it as an adult, and you kind of change your mind as an adult as who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, and maybe not in the way you might think. I don't think we're going to agree on one of these things.
Okay.
On a few of these things.
Okay, I'm interested because like I see some of this, and I obviously don't have kids or anything like that, so like watching this man be like a good father or whatever to these children, and seeing how like Sally Field's character is dealing with all of this and how she gets vilified, and I didn't love that, and I'm like, oh, you're not as good as like Mrs. Doubtfire is not as good as we used to think. I don't think, but we'll get into
that for sure. Oh, let me start with like a couple of and this will no, this won't get into that too much. Let me start with a couple of my first impressions as I was watching this. So
your
first of all,
a hot dog.
Damn it, you can't steal one of my quotes. That's a good one though. But no, so in the beginning, the neighbor that calls the police or whatever on that party, I didn't realize that was the same lady that was in the newer Parent Trap. Marva is her name in that. Marva? I knew I'd recognized her, and I had never.
Well, she was supposed to be. She was supposed to be a bigger character in this. She actually has like a lot of deleted scenes.
I saw that. That's interesting, and I guess maybe that's why they got. I'm not gonna say she's a big name, but I mean, they didn't just get some rando to play the neighbor.
Yeah.
So, and then I think this was also the first time in my life I heard the song "Jump Around." So that was a good exposure, positive experience. The first time I realized who the middle child was, Matthew Lawrence from everybody's favorite movie, The Hot Chick.
Oh, The Hot Chick is where you went.
I don't know why that's why I associate it with.
I thought you were gonna go with Boy Meets World or the Wonderful World of Disney, Angels in the End Zone, or Brotherly Love with all of the Lawrence brothers.
Nah, The Hot Chick.
Currently dating Chili from TLC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting bit of trivia.
I just learned that the other day. They have a podcast for the Brotherly Love. It's all the Lawrence brothers. And,
oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah, they were talking about him dating Chili.
And then I'll save these other two tidbits when we get into the hero versus villains talk.
Okay. I don't know if there is a villain in this movie. I don't think there is a villain, but
not a villain, but some people are worse than others.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Subjectively, everything's subjective. All right, let's talk about some scenes. What are some scenes, 4 or 5 scenes that really make this movie that you can go to if somebody brings up Mrs. Doubtfire? What are some of the scenes that were like, yes, that one?
I've got three because I've got a lot of stuff spread out
Yeah.
across this. But one you've kind of already hit on. I do a great impression of a hot dog. Is just, I mean, that's the line. I think that might be the best part of the movie. But that whole scene, when he's doing his voice impressions with the social worker lady, I
Mhm.
was dying, and I think that captures Robin Williams at his best. I think that captures this movie at its best. So
Yeah.
that was my first one. Um, of course, there's the scene when Mrs. Sellner comes to the house. His face, first of all, his face falls into the road and gets run over. Second of all, he's got the face full of cream that starts melting and dripping in the coffee, and then it just goes downhill from there. And then the last scene I have, I just have written down, titties on fire.
Titties on fire. Okay, you've hit on two of mine, but I count that one's called the first day on the job.
Yep.
Yeah, because he says that line. It's my first day as a woman. I'm already getting hot flashes. So, so dumb. But yeah, I've got kind of in the same realm as him doing the impressions. I have the scenes where he is making the phone calls using his voice talent to that is one of the most quoted scenes I think from me, where he is acting like all these different characters to make sure that Miranda knows that the ad did go in the paper, that he had already doctored, and also for her to be scared off by all these other people that are replying to the ad. So Mrs. Doubtfire looks amazing whenever he does comes up with a name. And then he also has to go to his brothers. I have this in there too. He has to go to his brothers, who is a makeup artist, to develop this character. And he goes through all these different characters, from like this Cuban woman to this, the matchmaker lady, and
Oh, no.
Barbara Streisand. A couple different looks there, before he settles on, before they settle on the Mrs. Doubtfire look, which I think they.
That is a great sequence.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. That's a lot of this is like. I know we talk about it a lot on here, but like montage-y stuff. This movie has quite a bit of that.
I think that's why I liked it.
You love a montage.
Man, I'm a sucker for a good montage.
I also have the first day on the job, like him being mean to the kids. I kind of like this. Like, so before he sets his tits on fire, he's like, okay, it's time to do homework. And they're like, no, we're watching Dick Van Dyke. And he's like, no, we're doing this. He throws the remote control in the fish tank, which was impressive. And then, yeah, he's not getting to be himself, which I think is a unique way that for him to interact with his children.
That's a really good point. Yeah, he's not like, I think anybody in that situation would probably assume that they would be like, okay, I get to go in there and be like loving and nurturing to these kids. And you're right. The first thing he's got to do is discipline them hard. It's got to be an interesting internal dialogue going on with how he's got to be feeling.
And I don't know if those kids have ever cleaned before as much as they hated cleaning.
Yeah. Well,
because Matthew Lawrence makes it seem like it is the worst thing he's ever done in his entire life. He's like, no, dear God, I'll do my homework.
I mean, he's a preteen boy.
Yeah, but I mean, and I know kids hate like doing chores and stuff, but the way that he reacts to it, I don't know. I feel like those kids have never cleaned a day in their life.
He's too busy thinking about Rob Schneider in a wig.
You're obsessed with the hot chick.
I do love that movie.
So yeah, I like the first day on the job. He realizes it's going to be a little bit harder than he thought to get to spend. I think it seems like it's going to be hard for him because he wants to spend that time with his children, but he also has to play this character at the same time. Also, he has to cook. He has to clean. Like he has to do actual things, responsible things, to be this nanny. And then like he ends up having to spend money to get the food brought to the house. and it all impresses Miranda when she comes, and he's like, oh yeah, committed to this
Yeah.
bit. But Mrs. Sellner visit, I think, is probably one of the most popular scenes in this movie.
It is so good, and the fact that it wasn't supposed to happen like that is just
with the
incredible.
The whipped cream
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to fall. That's pretty
That's
good.
so good.
I think it's so weird that he like tells her exactly what's in the whipped cream, and she like takes it off of the
Yeah.
coffee cup that's fine, and she puts a little bit on her face. She tastes it. I was like, bold. I love me some Mrs. Sellner.
Yeah, she's pretty great.
She kind of disappears though in the back half of this movie. You never see her again.
Yeah,
that.
what else has she been in? I might have.
What else has she been in?
She felt so familiar, and it may have just been because I've seen this movie so much growing up that she just was a familiar face. But I feel like was in some other stuff that I had to
Liar?
see. Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else that I'm like.
It's probably just this, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like that I'm thinking of. She just left a good imprint on this movie in the short time that she was in it.
Yeah. I think she did a lot of like TV and stuff too. So
okay.
Maybe you've seen her in some television. She's unfortunate. She's unfortunately passed since this movie's come out. So
she ripped.
She ripped a big one.
What year did she rip?
2001.
Okay.
Congestive heart failure is what I'm learning. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, age 67. So rest in peace, Anne Haney. You were a real one for Mrs. Doubtfire. And she did not think he was funny at all, which I love.
That was pretty funny.
That is an interesting thing about that scene where he is doing all the impressions. Like, I want to know if she laughed or not.
Oh, she had to have. There is nobody on this planet, apparently, other than Sally Fields, that wouldn't laugh.
I forgot about that. That Sally Field he was a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody could do it. I bet Anne Haney could sit there and just take it and be a super professional and just sit there and watch him do all these dumb impressions. And
I'm just such a giggler. I can't fathom it.
You are a giggler. You would never make it on a Robin Williams set.
No, I tried to. So in school, like I did some practice for like broadcast journalism. Every single time the camera came on, busted out laughing. It was dumb. In situations I'm not supposed to laugh, it's a guaranteed laugh.
Yeah. I've got you laughing for hours before and not saying a word.
I get it from my mother. She said that one time she laughed at a funeral, and not at the funeral, but somebody told a joke, and there it went. Laughed? Yeah,
you get it from your mother. She said that you were. She was. Oh, maybe that's.
I bet you're right. I bet it was from Curb.
I'm not a Curb watcher, so
I got you. Sorry. Big Larry David fan, though.
The only other scene I have, and I think it's like the scene, is the dinner scene where it's the back and forth, like him having to put on the make. It's another version of when Mrs. Sellner visits, except a little bit more chaotic because he's getting drunk, which I never thought of it when I was a kid. I never realized how drunk he was getting and why he was.
You know what? That's a good point. I didn't either.
Yeah, I mean, he drank like 3 scotches.
Well, yeah, and he was drinking at both tables, so he had like wine. Eating. Yeah, not yeah. Oh, we'll definitely get into this scene then because I've got a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff about it.
But I think that's the scene where Mrs. Doubtfire's exposed and he poisons Pierce Brosnan, or attempted murder of Pierce Brosnan here, and he's also trying to seal the deal with Robert Prosky's character, who's the head of that children's television programming.
He was the perfect casting for that too.
I love that. I love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's so wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he kills everything. So.
Yeah. It's so wild too. Like I've made you watch movies where that guy is an ultimate villain, and then he's
Prosky.
Like, yeah. Thief. One of my favorite movies, Thief.
Okay, I kind of forgot.
He's the guy that like steals a baby from somebody and gives it to the main character.
It happens.
It happens, you know. He'll rip that baby right
Pro-
back from him.
Prosky can do no wrong.
Hey, I'm all for a Prosky rewatch. We just
So he
watch
goes
only Prosky movies.
he goes from a baby thief to being a priest in Rudy
hmm
to now being head of
A
a
kind of
children's
a
network.
kind of a dirty old man too.
He is a dirty old man, but I feel like he really nailed the average man that age at the time.
Yeah, oh yeah. It wasn't seen as like dirt. Like it was light
Yeah.
dirty.
Dude, I'm disappointed you never did ask me for my synopsis of this movie. I had a good one.
Oh, okay. Can you give me your synopsis for this movie?
Yes, I can. I put recently divorced father of three concocts devious cross-dressing plan to kill James Bond and get his family back. Tell me that wouldn't sell some tickets.
Oh yeah. I would rather read your synopses any day than the synopses
Hey,
that I get.
I'll start giving them to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
But so that's all your scenes, right?
Yeah, those are my 4 big scenes.
Okay, because so obviously some not less important, but some other scenes that we haven't talked about have happened, and that's kind of where I wanted to talk about some of this good versus bad a little bit, where we might have a little bit of difference. So first, in the when they do get divorced and they have the court proceeding about visitation and stuff, and they're saying like visitation just every Saturday, and I thought his ex-wife was a bitch for that, because like this dude,
Didn't
like
have
all
it,
he did was
but no, okay, listen. He didn't have a home and he doesn't have a job.
okay, but that doesn't mean you like the
And-
visitation can still be way more frequent than once a week.
I think that was the judge's thing, and it was a preliminary.
It was. I'll give you that.
He's like, you have what do you say, 90 days?
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Get a job, do that, and then we'll reevaluate. I feel like 3 months is a good like not a long. I mean, that's a long period of time, but
Okay.
I feel like he, and I am not trying to. I love Mrs. Doubtfire. I love all this. Do I think that he jumped too quickly at being like, I'm going to dress up as a woman and be a nanny so I can be with my kids as a different character? Did I think he jumped into that a little too quickly? Yeah, I do.
Well, okay. So there was Exhibit A. Exhibit B is the fact that he threw those kids a dope ass party. He didn't give them like booze and drugs and stuff. He just threw them a cool party, and she flew off the handle because she's wound way too tight.
I think there's a lot of stuff that we don't see from their marriage, and I really hear it whenever she lays into him.
That I mean, yeah, you're right.
He brought a freaking petting zoo inside of the house.
He's a little extra. He went all out for his kids. He's a
little too
father
much.
who loves
And
his
like,
kids.
okay, so here, let me pop this into your mind here. You throw a party for your child and have no intention of your wife knowing about this party.
I mean, yeah.
Like having it cleaned up. She's going to be really angry at you if she finds out.
You're right. Okay.
And those kids see him as this, it's almost, they're not even divorced, and he's already the vacation dad. Like the vacation.
That's true. Yeah.
Dad, the fun dad,
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to go hang out with your dad. Okay, cool. That's when they eat candy and get to do only the fun, go-kart racing or whatever.
That's supposed to be a grandparent's thing.
Trope. Vacation dad, I think, is what Alyssa said when I was talking to her.
Side note: have you seen the reels on Instagram of the guy opening divorced dad's card packs?
No,
I need to show it to you. It's really funny. Like he'll open them and he'll pull them out and he'll say like, "Ooh, farmer's tan," and then the next one will be like flight simulator. Like it's just really, really funny tropes of divorced dads, but
yeah.
It's off topic.
I feel he's not even divorced, and he's already doing that with no repercussions, no responsibility. He said he was going to clean up, and before she got home, and I just don't get the idea that he was going to. And I have no doubt in my mind that man loves his children more than anything ever. Like that is one thing that Robin Williams is so good at, is like
Oh yeah.
Like the emotion that he has when he's talking about his children during that court proceeding. I think that's what led that judge to be so, in my opinion, lenient and being like, hey man, look, you
Yeah.
have no job, you have no house. I'm giving you 90 days just to get something figured out. And
Yeah. Okay.
I think that that's a little bit of like why he gets that from them. So I don't know. I think there's some complicated things in here, and
Yeah.
I see a little bit of myself in a Robin Williams. I want to be fun. I want to be the guy that makes everybody happy, and sometimes that's not always the person that
Yeah.
needs to exist. You need some rules. You need a little Sally
Okay.
Field.
Okay. Listen, you're 2 for 2 right now, but you're not getting this next one.
Okay.
Because she was an hour early to pick up the kids and an hour late dropping them off.
I agree with you on this.
You know that sucks.
We're his goddamn kids too.
Yep. And that's definitely my quote because that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And also she's gone till like 7 every night because that's what she said, like from 3 to 7 or 4
yeah,
to
3
7.
to 7. Yeah, whatever it is.
It's like, geez,
4
that's
hours,
late
yeah,
night.
3 to 7.
Like you're seeing your kids like 2 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No,
tough.
I will agree with you on this one. I did not like that. Daniel only gets, and that's a Saturday. If she's seeing him, or if those kids are seeing him, what is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Dang.
like, I get that she's a single mom essentially now, and like she has to run her errands and do all that stuff. But yeah, like he is guaranteed that time by the court.
Yeah.
So you give him his time. And
Yeah. And then
drop him
Oh,
off
go ahead.
late, an hour late, and drop him or pick him up an hour early. What like that's unfair. Yeah, the kids were kind of miserable, but
it's gonna happen at
it's
first.
still his time,
Yeah.
and he's not a monster.
And then I know before we've talked, you said watching this as an adult, you see Pierce Brosnan as more of like as not such an asshole as like when we were kids. Obviously, we're like this guy
Yeah,
sucks.
he's the bad guy.
Horning in on his action, like he's being their dad. He shouldn't be. But there is one thing I'll say that made me mad. That I could see maybe why he started off on the wrong foot being an asshole, and it was because during that first meeting, him and Sally Fields, he wasn't even like paying attention to her work presentation, and I was like, well, that's you don't set up a big time meeting and then just be like, we'll go out to dinner. Like, I don't care about.
Well, I don't think he. I obviously I think that the work was second to that. He wanted.
Yeah.
He liked Sally Field from before, and now he has an opportunity to get back with Sally Field. And yes, this also shows off, hey, I'm rich and I'm, I have my shit together, basically.
Yeah.
So it's like the ultimate flex. I agree with you. Like, I agree with you a little bit here. Yeah, it's a little, shady. He's not respecting her work.
Yeah.
He's only wanting to get in there. So I agree.
I do see what you're talking about, though. Like, later on, like, yeah, he's there for the kids. He's like you said, he's got his shit together. He's caring, like, because those aren't his kids. He doesn't have to, be as caring as he is, and takes them out to dinner, does fun stuff with them, goes swimming. So yeah,
he doesn't want to be a stepdad.
Oh no,
he wants to be the dad that steps up.
I hate you so much. God, I hate you.
No, but I mean, you see it at the pool scene whenever he's talking to that guy that knows Stu, and he's like, "Oh, you never wanted kids." And he's like, "I don't know, man. It changed. I love those kids. I'm crazy about." He says, "I'm crazy about them."
Yeah.
And then he does shit on Daniel there. He says,
"Oh yeah, his dad's
like,
a loser.
Dad's a loser."
Yeah.
Which is, a little unfair, but he's obviously the only knowledge that he gets from about Daniel is from his wife, is from his ex-wife. And so she's going to tell him all the awful things about
like
him.
Only negative stuff.
It's like, Stu, you are everything that this guy is not.
Yeah.
So.
And then we see the drive-by fruiting.
Drive-by fruiting. Oh my gosh. Joseph said he may miss this one due to work, but he's really trying to be here for the F, Marry, Kill.
I left that completely blank because I do not know what direction you're putting that in.
I don't know what I'm gonna do here.
Oh no.
don't have anything for that.
I think I do
Okay.
have an idea, but
Yeah, I would love to play. It's gonna be. I'll figure it out when we get to it. Any other scenes that you want to bring up? Talking about.
no. I mean, I think we've gone over enough scenes in general.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character? Who stole some scenes for you?
I don't think it'll be that surprising to you that it's Mara Wilson.
Yeah, Natty.
Yeah, because and this was one of the times I got emotional. Actually, was toward the beginning. It was when she was saying bye to her dad and gave him nose rubs. I was like a puddle over here.
Oh my
On
gosh, yes.
I mean, on the inside, not on the outside, because I ain't no bitch. But I think, yeah, she just has like some really funny lines, and like her lisp is adorable, and she's great.
I love Mara Wilson. I think Mara Wilson, is a big part of our childhood too. Matilda, Simple Wish,
Hmm.
Miracle on 34th Street. Then she kind of like didn't do anything after that. But like
But she's back now.
yeah, she's back. She's written a book.
Hmm.
She's living her life. She has the exact same haircut.
Yeah, she sure does.
But no, she's adorable. One, but I think like the chemist, like she felt like Robin Williams' kids or kid.
Yeah, I think this like shows her early on like one of the best child actors I think that have been around. Like she just does such a good job of showing that connection. And then you mentioned Matilda as well. Like her and Danny DeVito apparently, I mean, off camera actually, were pretty close. And gosh, yeah, she can really pull the emotions out of you on screen.
Yeah, I enjoyed the heck out of Natty. She was incredible. She had some great lines. I already ruined a couple for you, but when she repeats "we're his goddamn kids too," I lose it. I fucking love it.
That is amazing.
And I don't know if you have the diarrhea forever line on your list, but that is one of the funniest, cutest lines I've ever heard.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't have it.
I love that scene where what does he say? Yeah, Robin Williams says that he basically wishes that Miranda gets that disease, and then Matthew Lawrence is going through. He's like, "Oh yeah, and you get diarrhea forever," and she goes,
"Dysentery
diarrhea forever." Yeah.
God, she's so good.
She's so good.
I did have well, I don't want to steal yours.
No, you're good. Go for it.
Oh, I was going to say I had an honorable mention to Robin Williams' brother and his husband.
Oh yeah, no, Harvey Fierstein's wonderful in this. I love that he's in this. I love that Harvey Fierstein found out that they were casting a brother that was gay for this, and he like sought out Robin Williams to be like, I want that role. Harvey Fierstein's perfect in this, and like you see him in this, and then the next time I remember seeing him in my childhood is Independence Day. He's friends with Jeff Goldblum's character. He works with Jeff Goldblum's character. It's very funny role. But no, Natty was my favorite character, scene stealer. So I had the exact same thing as you.
Oh, okay, good.
I do want
so good.
I do want to bring attention again now that we're talking about her and like being just a wonderful child. I think Matthew Lawrence is great. I think that the girl that plays Liddy is great too. Like they each have their personalities. And I think they all shine through in the good and the bad. Because like Lydia's a little bit like hating towards Mrs. Doubtfire in the beginning and super loyal to her dad.
I think that frustrated me a little bit at first, but she's just such a good actor. I think that's why it frustrated me, because I didn't like the character was pissing me off. Not the actor.
But then she like softens to him, and then like I don't know. I feel like she's a good big sister. That's the impression I got. I feel like she's a good big sister.
100%. Yeah.
I think these kids are wonderful, and were cast perfectly. They chose them because they looked the most. They were good, and they looked the most similar to both Sally Field and Robin Williams. So
I didn't realize they did it at all really
Yeah.
based on looks. But I mean, it is
Yeah.
this whole movie's pretty perfect as far as
Yeah.
casting goes.
It is good casting. All right, so we've already talked about a few quotes because there are so many in this movie. But what are some of the quotes that really stick out to you?
So I've got, in the words of Porky Pig, piss off, Lou.
Piss off, Lou.
You do it way better than than your boy.
I used to do it all the time when I was a kid.
Oh. And then this next one actually is not a funny line. It was kind of a shot to the heart line, and it was the first the conversation after, I guess, Sally Fields and Robin Williams have after the party, and he says, "We love each other," and then she doesn't say anything, and then he says, "Don't we?" And it was in front of the kids, and I was just like, "Oh,
Robin Williams has some of the best eyes for like
yeah."
saying some lines, because he's like, when she says we love each other, like he is just like welling up with tears and not letting them out. It's
Yeah,
good.
God, he's so good.
He's good.
And then of course we got another Mara Wilson. Whenever he's leaving, he says, she says, "You can't go now. We're right in the middle of Charlotte's Web." And it sounds like some shit a kid would say.
Yeah.
100%. I've also just got written down, hello.
Hello.
So iconic. And I think this one may be my all-time favorite. This one may be my all-time favorite, and that's whenever Mrs. Doubtfire, or whenever Robin Williams' son catches him peeing standing up, and then they're talking in the bedroom, and I don't remember what he says to Matthew Lawrence, but Matthew Lawrence says, "Yeah, no shit."
He's like, "Watch your mouth."
Yeah, watch your mouth, young man. Nearly every time, and that's part of my biggest laugh too. Nearly every single time that Mrs. Doubtfire breaks character and goes deep voice, I lose my shit because it is so funny.
I particularly like on the street whenever the guy's stealing his purse. He's like, broke my damn purse.
There, and then of course all of Mrs. Doubtfire's euphemisms when she has dinner with Pierce Brosnan.
I had that whole thing listed out too.
Oh, I'm gonna need you to read it
Okay.
because I need a refresh. I didn't put them all down. But then this one, this next one is just kind of one that is personal to me, just because I don't know. It just has personal meaning in my life. But it was when they said, "Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?"
Mhm.
And it's kind of a personal thing, but I really appreciate it.
Okay. All right. What else? Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay.
And I need to hear these euphemisms.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll just start with the euphemisms.
Please do.
Mrs. Doubtfire says, "Sink the sub, hide the weasel, park the porpoise, a bit of the old Humpty Dumpty, little Jack Horny, the horizontal mambo, the bone dancer, rumple foreskin, baloney bop, a bit of the old cunning linguistics." And he says, "Mrs. Doubtfire, please." And Mrs. Doubtfire returns with, "Oh, I'm sorry. Am I being a little graphic? I'm sorry. Well, I hope you're up for a little competition. She's got a power tool in the bedroom, dear. It's her own personal jackhammer. She could break sidewalk with that thing. She uses it and the lights dim. It's like a prison movie. Amazed she hasn't chipped her teeth."
I don't know, but do you think that that part was improv?
Yes. 100%.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Gosh, the talent, dude.
Rumple foreskin.
Rumple foreskin, I think, was the one. It during that whole part, it was when she hit rumple foreskin. I was like, all right, I can't hold it in.
Man, when she's talking about the power tool, I lost it. That's so good. Okay, so a couple.
Obviously, we didn't get those references as kids.
No, did not at all. Mrs. Doubtfire, when she's talking about her dead husband, says that he was killed by the drink. And she was like, "Oh, alcoholic," and he goes, "No, he was hit by a Guinness truck, so it was quite literally the drink that killed him."
I forgot about that. That one was really good. I'm shocked I didn't write that
Yeah.
down.
Of course, one of my favorite lines that I quote from, and probably shouldn't quote anymore, from when he's calling Miranda, but he's a character who says, "Oh, a boy, I don't work with the males because I used to be one."
Oh yeah, that one was good, especially considering the rest of the movie.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what else I have here. Miranda, I really like the way that Miranda delivers that the whole time. I mean, the whole time, the whole time. She does that so well. I freaking love Sally Field in that moment.
Yeah, she
Um,
does.
Also, in the dinner scene with Jonathan Lundy, he says, "Does your girlfriend have a girlfriend?" And Daniel says, "Hey, it's the 90s."
I did like that one. That one was good.
Mrs. Doubtfire and Miranda have a couple times when they're talking to each other about marriage and stuff. And Mrs. Doubtfire says marriage can be such a blessing. And Miranda replies with, "So can divorce." So
That one did hit. That one, yeah, that one did hit good. That one was a really good one.
that was good. Mrs. Doubtfire, this is the, "Oh, sir, I saw it. Some angry member of the kitchen staff. Did you not tip them? Oh, the terrorists. They ran that way. It was a run by fruiting. I'll get them, sir. Don't worry." And then finally, I ended with, after he does all his impersonations for Mrs. Sellner, she says, "Mr. Hillard, do you consider yourself humorous?" And he says, "I used to. There was a time when I found myself funny, but today you have proven me wrong. Thank you."
God,
It's so good.
how can you not love this movie?
I don't like the males because I used to be one.
It's so good.
Also,
Masterclass.
on that phone call section, he goes, "I am Job. I
Oh yeah.
am Job." I also, other things at the very beginning of this movie when he quits his job, and the guy calls him out. He's like, "You don't need to be Gandhi about this whole thing." And then then he goes into his Gandhi impersonation. "A man has got to do what a man has got to do." I quote that all the time.
So good.
Yeah, probably really offensive, but gosh,
We also forgot the very first where he he starts going off script about this bird that's smoking because he thinks it's sending a bad message.
He's not wrong.
I mean,
Help me.
You do pretty good. Robin Williams doing an impression.
Do an impression of a little bird. No, we're missing out on so many lines from this.
Oh, well, I've got another one, but it's part of my biggest laugh.
Oh, okay. Well, let's move right into it. Let's do the biggest laugh.
Okay, and then of course I've already said that anytime that Mrs. Doubtfire's voice gets deep, sends me. But there's two parts. Yeah, there's two parts to this because it's kind of all in the same sequence, and it's that big final dinner sequence. And the first one is when he looks in the mirror in the bathroom and sees that he left Mrs. Doubtfire's face on, and it scares the shit out of him. I laughed so hard, and so I was already in a giggly mood from that. That whenever Mrs. Doubtfire lost her dentures, and she says, "Carpe dentum."
Carpe dentum is a great line.
I was dying. Like carpe dentum, of all the lines, I don't know why carpe dentum was just the one.
Well, apparently they didn't know he was going to do that, and lose his teeth in the thing, and so that whole scene, like even Pierce Brosnan is like surprised at that and like cooperate, do a pincer movement.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
And the kids, like, you can definitely tell on like the kid's face, like that is the most genuine laugh I think you'll ever see.
They love him. They love him so much.
Carpe dentum.
Carpe dentum. I had written down like literally any time that he is riffing and just going off, like the Park the Porpoise kind of thing, like that,
Yep.
any of that stuff. Or and this kind of goes into my other one is whenever she's talking to Miranda about how terrible Stu is and how like she does that like 2 or 3 times in there. Basically tries to convince her to just do or perform celibacy for the rest of her life. Anything like that. Look, kids, that's what liposuction looks like.
Oh yeah, when he's on the diving board.
I like my men short, furry, and funny. That's the other
That one, I almost put that one as a as a quote. I'm surprised you didn't say anything about the part where he's riffing with the dinosaurs.
Oh, that's so good. I mean, it's all lame, but it's good. Like in
Yeah,
1993, that's some really good, funny stuff.
but also, I mean, it's a kid show.
It's a kid show. Yeah, yeah.
It's not gonna be
All I could think
profane.
of, and I don't know if you've ever seen Fern Gully. Have you ever seen Fern Gully?
No.
Okay. Well, he plays Batty, which is a bat that's had experiments on him that he's been experimented on, and he has a bat rap in that song, and that's all I could think of whenever he was doing his rapping raptor or whatever. Just funny to me. You should watch Fern Gully. You'll hate it.
I probably will.
Yeah, it's about saving the rainforest.
Oh yeah, I'm not watching that.
You're not watching that. Yeah, and I had any impressions that he did throughout the movie, just basically laughing anytime Robin Williams is on screen, and not crying. Anytime that Robin Williams like starts to cry or gets like sad, oh god.
Fast forward.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard watch, man. I got a little sad.
I get it.
Anything else you want to add to that? Any cries, scares, thrills?
I already kind of mentioned Mara Wilson and him rubbing noses when he had to leave. It was just heart wrenching. I don't think I had any. As a kid, I think maybe like a scare or a thrill was, and it's funny now, but seeing someone's face come off and go into the road and get run over and just flattened was a little bit terrifying.
Yeah. I also think that in that same, the flattening, but I'm thinking of when his face is coming off in the restaurant, it's like half.
Oh yeah,
so
that is okay.
That's a little scary. Another kind of like sad moment is the look on the children's face. Again, this goes back to like the kids and like being good actors and stuff. But like the way that their faces look when they know that I think even Robin Williams says like show's over or whatever. Yeah. Like. That's pretty sad. Like seeing their face, because especially the two that knew that he was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Like seeing how sad they are, the look on their faces, like it is. It's all over.
This is the last time we're gonna see him.
Yeah. Which probably should have been.
Honestly, yeah. I don't know that it was necessarily illegal. Well, based on the court order, maybe. I don't know. It's a very gray area.
That actually leads into my WTF, ridiculous moment, which I have listed here as 3 charges. Probably some more like minor charges in here, but I have attempted murder. I have fraud.
Yeah.
I have kidnapping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're an attorney.
Yeah. So like he know, and it is attempted murder because he knows that Stu is allergic to pepper.
I think that's probably the worst one.
I have a gripe though about Stu and his pepper.
Oh, I have a huge gripe about this whole allergic to pepper shit.
1, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that you're allergic to pepper. 2, don't order jambalaya. Because jambalaya without any kind of spice, what the hell is it?
That's a good point.
And also, if it's a fancy restaurant, you're getting jambalaya?
I was less pissed at...
I'm way pissed about the jambalaya. Jambalaya!
I was less pissed at his ordering than I was at the way they portrayed allergy as just choking on a piece of shrimp.
True.
Because the shrimp's out now. He's good. Like, no. He ingested the pepper.
That's right.
But they never addressed it.
So
that was my biggest gripe and my most ridiculous. Well, I had some others, but that was my most ridiculous moment because he was clearly just joking. He wasn't.
Yeah, it's just weird to think about like getting hired as a nanny in '93 as opposed to getting hired as a nanny in 2023. Like he just answered the ad and she was like, "Yeah, I'll pay you."
I think you'd be surprised, to be honest. I know somebody. I can't get too into it, but
that affluent, it would be that easy.
I don't know that it'd be that easy. I think obviously you'd have to be kind of like him and kind of like talk your way. You gotta be charismatic and you gotta be persuasive. But
no background checks.
I think you'd be surprised. I don't think so.
Unless it was like the next door, like if it was somebody I already knew ahead of time. I don't know. I don't have kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, in my perspective, yeah, I'd be background checking the shit out of people.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I don't know. It was just weird.
I also wish I could afford a nanny. So.
That's true. That's true. I wonder how much. I went in a deep dive of betting trying to find out how much this house cost and everything.
Like present
the
day,
actual house, yeah. Because the address that they talked, that is the address in San Francisco. That is the house.
They didn't have a Zestimate.
It's 5.8 million, I think, is how
that
much
tracks.
it was. It was like in the 90s at some point. It maybe like late 90s. It was 1.4 million.
I was gonna guess around that. Yeah. I think it's the area.
Yeah. So. I mean, San Francisco, really nice house, and she's the only one making money. Too.
Yeah, what does she do again?
She works for an interior design firm, but she's a partner, so it's like her.
Oh,
firm.
That's right. Yeah.
There's like two other partners or whatever, but Hillard is definitely the last name on there. So she's rich.
Yeah, he probably didn't really need to be working at all.
No, probably not.
Clearly, he just quit his job.
He could have been. I do. Maybe stay-at-home dad wasn't as acceptable at the time.
Oh, it definitely wasn't.
Yeah, as it might be now. And I still think that even though stay-at-home dad is a thing that exists, more people still look down on it.
They do. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So whatever. Oh yeah, kidnapping, fraud, all that stuff. I mean, that all goes in there. If you find out that your ex-husband has been doing all these things, if you hate him that much, you take him
straight to jail.
Yep, straight to jail. So what else you got?
Believe it or not,
like ridiculous things.
That's it. That's all I got. I technically also had some more. We've already covered. I had the drive-by fruiting. And also had...
let's talk about the run-by fruiting. She just he just takes that and doesn't like knocked in the head. Nobody cares.
What are you gonna do? Deck an 80-year-old nanny? No.
Yeah, but like nobody like says does he know she threw it?
I mean,
you think he knows?
Who else is gonna throw it? Or did he buy the line that Mrs. Doubtfire delivered it?
It was a terrorist.
Maybe he's not very smart.
It's true. Stu might not be very smart. Old ladies get away with everything. Okay.
It's true.
Okay. That's a good point. It's
a really good point, actually.
Yeah.
You know what? Never mind.
What?
I was just going to say, like, imagine, like, you and I would get some, like, deep prosthetics like that. Like, we're just like 90-year-old men. Think of everything you can get away with, and I've seen people do it to get like underage alcohol before as a bit on YouTube or whatever. But
like three kids in a trench coat.
Essentially, yeah. But I mean, yeah, you can get away with anything because you're old. Apparently, people think you've already paid your dues.
Yeah. I mean, if you reach a certain age, you can get away with anything. Patton Oswalt has a great bit about if you reach the age 100, you get to make a law or whatever. Or you get away with murder or whatever. Like you can just murder anybody you want.
He's right. Look at the people in office right now.
It's essentially happening before our very eyes. All right.
Yep.
Best music moment in this movie.
Man, this movie had way better music than I think it should have. Mm-hmm. So I actually have 4.
I wrote down 4 too.
Oh, sweet. Let's see if we can go 4 for 4. I doubt it. So I had right off the bat, I had Figaro
Oh,
because that
okay.
was
Wasn't
just
mine.
that was I was an iconic start. I mean that,
Figaro.
yeah. Second, I had you'll probably have this one, maybe not. I had Matchmaker,
I
make
didn't
me
have that one
match.
either.
Oh, okay. The third one, my favorite, a montage. It's a dude looks like a lady. I'm sure you had that one.
That's my number one. I think Dude
Yeah,
Looks Like a Lady.
it's good.
What is
And
that
then the
song even
last,
about?
a dude that looks like a lady. I
Is
don't
that
know.
literally what it's about? I didn't really dive into I've never dove into the lyrics to be like, what is this
I don't.
about?
Was that made just for this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Like, I know
I
that's
don't.
one of their
I don't
later
know.
songs,
And then the last one I had was "I Eat Wood." James Brownosaur.
but- No, I had all the songs that relate to him being a man dressed as a woman. So I
I was
had
gonna. There was more than one. I know
yeah,
that.
so we've got they're a little bit like they're kind of all over the place. So Dude Looks Like a Lady, of course, is like the essential. And then I have Walk Like a Man
Oh yeah.
by the Four Seasons, Luck Be a Lady by Sinatra. So
It's
there's that.
arguable.
And then Papa's Got a Brand New Bag.
I don't guess I remember that. What part was that on?
Papa's got a brand new bag.
Was that him singing it?
No, I don't know if it's on very long, but it's definitely
Yeah.
that line.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Papa's got a
Oh, it
brand
might
new
have been the
bag.
bus scene.
Yeah, I think it is like around that. So those are my best. I love yours though. I loved. You are missing the Streisand song from there too. Don't tell me how to live.
Oh
Yes,
yes, because I didn't get it.
impossible, but whatever.
It's
Don't rain
100%
on my
because I didn't get it.
parade. Yeah, don't rain on my parade.
Hey, and I don't feel like super out of touch because even Robin Williams didn't know matchmaker, make me a match. So
No, he didn't. I don't think he knew. Don't rain on my parade either. He had to
good.
get
We're not.
he had to
Well,
get taught by Harvey Firestein those songs. So
it happens. Can't see everything.
you're basically Robin Williams.
Hopefully,
Throw a
never mind.
dress on and you're Mrs. Doubtfire.
There you go. I got the hair.
You got the hair. All right, let's break this down. I only had most dateable on here as Stu, or picking between Stu and Daniel. But we can do an F, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
I figure it out.
I was trying to think of a way we could do male Robin Williams and female Robin Williams, but I'm struggling. Most dateable. Gosh, I'm really not a Stu fan, dude.
You
He
like him
just-
short, furry, and funny. It's
I
okay.
think I do, and
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go Daniel. Just is he short? He's furry. He's funny.
Yeah. I
I-
think that it would be a great time with Daniel, but I kind of think I would end up in the situation. Like, I agree with Miranda. Like, it was fun for the first few years, and then it just stopped being like he wasn't fun.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
Um,
it is a lot to
yeah,
deal with.
it is.
She
a
was
lot.
speaking from the heart there.
Yeah, and I think that Stu, like the kid, like even seeing like the kids love that guy. And yeah, I think I'm into Stu. I think
The money's there. The body's there.
Body, he's freaking James Bond. He's my James
Yeah.
Bond that I grew
I
up
get it.
loving.
I get it.
Yeah. Stu, Daniel, the head of the television network.
I considered that. I was like, because that guy, he could probably get it. I mean,
Robert Prosky, baby. Let's go,
dude,
Prosky. Let's go,
Prosky's
Prosky.
my guy.
Let's go, Selner.
Oh,
And let's go.
the neighbor.
I was thinking
No,
the neighbor.
I don't know
would
that
kill
she's
her,
in there
though.
enough. Okay.
I would kill her.
I think so too. Yeah, and I think I would 100% marry Prosky. It's my guy.
Prosky's your guy. You think so? You're effing Selner?
Unfortunately,
See, but I think Prosky's going to be a good time. He's a good time.
You're probably right. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
good
He is a
time
bit
guy,
of.
man.
He does give off a womanizer vibe.
Yeah, I'm getting in there with Mrs. Sellner. I think we're marrying her. We're
God,
marrying her.
what a life.
I
She's
think
not. She's never gonna laugh at your jokes.
I think she's a freak behind closed doors.
She could be. She
I think
could. A
she is.
social worker in the streets with a freak in the bed.
Exactly. Sorry, that wasn't as great as everybody was probably anticipating.
Joseph's pissed. He's like, I waited late at work for this.
I'm sorry, man. I couldn't figure out anybody, you know?
It's a tough one. It's a
It's a
kid
tough
show.
one.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
a kid show, but
And I kind of wanted to put Sally Field's character in there a little bit. Like,
she's
how
too
do you?
uptight.
Okay, let's talk about this. How do you feel about Miranda? Because
As a character,
I don't feel like we gave her any attention in this.
that's what I mean. That's kind of going back to what I was saying earlier. She's always absent. Like I get
Yeah.
that she's a working woman. She's
Mhm.
and now a single mother, so she's got to work and she's a partner of the company. I get all that.
Mhm.
And then now you bring in the dynamic, like you said, of her losing half the day on a Saturday. So she's seeing her kids like literally maybe half a day each week in
Yeah.
total. And I think that's why she's not a major part of the story. 'Cause she's always gone. It's just, I don't know. I think that's the most frustrating thing about it. I don't know. Maybe they did that intentionally. I don't know. But I think I would have liked to probably see her be at home a little bit more with the kids. That
Yeah.
way it shows that she's a good parent too.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, well, she doesn't get them every Saturday, so that's even less time with the kids.
Hmm.
But yeah, show me a Sunday or something.
Yeah. Dude. Oh, I feel so stupid. I forgot Sunday. I forgot about Sunday.
Yeah, that's a whole day. But we don't get to see it. You're right. Like, we don't get to see it in the movie. It's not portrayed in the movie.
Yeah.
Man, I was
Well,
gonna
sure
go.
as shit can't go to Chick-fil-A.
Can't go to a Chick-fil-A. Why's that? Oh,
It's
on
closed
Sunday.
on Sunday.
You're right. Like that's where she's gonna take these kids.
I'm just saying, limited options because some places are closed on Sundays, so you can't have your full gamut of fun.
I get it. I don't know. I feel like we get a lot of Miranda being a disappointed wife, you know? And yeah, Chat's right. Like, I can't blame her for working so much. The kids mentioned in the beginning
Yeah.
that their dad would quit or get fired often. Somebody's got to pay for that nice house. That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, she's got to do it. She's got to keep up with their lifestyle and everything.
She would have she would have thrived so much in 2023 working from home.
Oh yeah. I wonder how much she would how much these jobs that people had could be done simply from working at home.
Oh, yeah, like, it's got to be up there.
Yeah, she could do it. Not a problem.
She's designing an interior.
And honestly, him as a voice actor has way more opportunities too to
freelance.
Freelance. 2023 Mrs. Doubtfire is a little bit different. It's a little bit
different. I think they stay together.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Probably
I don't know.
But they divorced for different reasons. But
yeah. They don't love each other, so that's
that's the reason.
And I think no. I don't want to get into it. We're not getting into it.
But she still needs a nanny because you can't take care of the kids while you're working. So
I do think it was a little bit of her just kind of you're right. Like I kind of think she is being a little bit too much of a dick about like his visitation rights, especially like she could have said, okay, Daniel can come over, 3 to 7, have the kids every day.
I was going to say, honestly, it's the perfect solution for her.
Obviously, we need him to develop as a father and like learn how to be responsible, do the cooking, do the cleaning, and it's sad that he has to do it in the character of Mrs. Doubtfire, but he absolutely needs to have that in order for him to become, because if not, he's just going to be the same Daniel. He's going to
Yeah.
be party Daniel. I'm here to just be the vacation dad,
Mhm.
all those things. So
I think she could have kind of had it both ways, really. Hire a nanny still, have him visit, I don't know, Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever. Nanny's still there
yeah,
to do whatever, help clean, help cook, and also secretly watch to make sure Danny doesn't do some bonkers shit with the kids.
yeah.
And he still gets to see his kids. And then it's not eating into her Saturday as well.
I think I was sympathetic with Daniel through most of the movie. Even though I do think that he was, not the greatest husband, obviously, not even the best dad. Because again, he gives off that like I'm only going to do fun things with the dad. Not much of a disciplinarian, not much of that. When she comes to visit him on the set of the Mrs. Doubtfire television show, he throws some harsh blame on her that I think is very unwarranted. Like,
You're going to have to remind me. What did he say?
I can't even remember, but it's like exactly what it is. But he was like, "You took my kids from me," basically, and he was. At that point, I'm like, no, that's where all those charges that you didn't get filed
Yeah.
against you come in, Daniel. You need to lighten up a little bit and play a little
Yeah.
ball with her. She's coming to you like you tried to kill my boyfriend and
Yeah.
you're stealing my kids without me knowing and pretending to be this person that I have confided in for months or weeks or whatever it is. I don't know what the timeline of this is. I guess we kind of get a timeline whenever they have the second court
Yeah.
proceeding because it's still
Been
within
at
the
least
90
3
days.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't fully love Robin Williams there at the end.
Yeah. I guess I just kind of glossed over that.
60 days. Yeah, about 60 days. So it's one of those things. All right. Who's the I think we're both in agreement about this, but who gave the best performance?
Robin Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, Robin Williams gave the best performance. That guy, I'm sure we could find many, many other movies, and he is just killing it, like just doing amazing work, and
Yeah.
should have been recognized way more than what he's been given credit for. So, yeah, that's easy one. All right, I know you hate this part. Well, you hate it because you don't think you're good at it, but
I am not good at it, and I've got about 50 friggin' names written down.
okay. So 1993 recast. I honestly, this is what I wrote. I said I don't think I would recast it. I think
I
it
did.
is. I think it is a perfect cast. I think that there are some of the fun facts and stuff that I have listed here about like some of the people that were the first choice. Like Tim Allen was the first choice for Mrs. Doubtfire.
Nah, I don't like
No,
it.
that doesn't work. Like I like, and all I could think of is like the Santa Claus, which comes out a year later.
I almost put that as my movie pairing, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good pairing to go with. But yeah, I don't like that, and we might be a little bit more biased because like he's kind of become this,
Yeah.
Political figure in his recent years. But like 90s Tim Allen, maybe, but
Yeah.
I couldn't help. I could not stop thinking of Santa Claus. So
What's Miss Doubtfire going to have? A snake in her boot?
stupid, dumb.
That's the dad in me.
That's the dad in you. Yeah, great. Did you have anybody for 93?
So I also said the same thing, but I then listed everyone on the planet. So let me go through this. I said I don't think you can really do better than the casting.
Yeah.
So everything that I say is basically if I had to. So as the mom, I as Sally Field's character, I put Emma Thompson or Marissa Tomei.
Okay.
And I know you like some Tomei.
I love both of those people.
And then I said,
Tomei comes off a little young for me in this right now.
I was wondering that too. Yeah, if I had to recast Robin Williams, God, this is the one where I put a bunch. I think the obvious answer is Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
just because he's got that same range, that same intensity. I think it just makes sense. Um, I put Danny DeVito or John Goodman.
Okay.
Also, Bill Murray or Dustin Hoffman.
Bill Murray, I think would have been kind of in line for that.
But then my favorite, just because it makes me laugh and I want to see it, is Luis Guzman. I feel like that would be so funny.
No, I unfortunately, I think that, I mean, I know that he's in prosthetics and he's not an attractive woman, but I don't think you could make Bill Murray an attractive, like a woman. Yeah.
That's a good, yeah. I struggle seeing Bill Murray as a woman too. Yeah. Good call. I want to hear your 2023s though, because I know you did them.
All right, my 2023s, I did, because I did not do 93. I had Bill Hader as Daniel Doubtfire.
Damn.
He's got the voice work. He's also around that. He's in his 40s.
You're too good.
I think that's a really good one. Rashida Jones as Miranda.
Oh, I'm pissed at you. How do you do it?
I love doing like recent ones. Maybe you'll like this one, but Daniel Craig as Stu.
Dude, I have Daniel Craig too, because it just makes sense.
It just makes sense. You just got to put Bond in there.
Yep.
And then I put Neil Patrick Harris as Frank just to be fun.
Who's is Frank the
Frank's
kid's
his brother? His brother.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah. That would be good.
Yeah. So
damn, I'm so happy that you said Daniel Craig.
Yeah. What are your others?
God, I got one that makes me laugh, so it's not super serious. As Sally Fields rather character, I've got Nicole Kidman, because I feel like she's kind of got an edge to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then to recast Mrs. Doubtfire, obviously you can't do Robin Williams again, but I said Martin Lawrence. I think Big Mama's House.
Big Mama's House. Yeah, no.
And then I kind of went down that same rabbit hole of thought, and then said also Tyler Perry. Think Medea.
Yeah.
I said Mike Myers. Think Austin Powers. Fat Bastard. And then I said Eddie Murphy, and think like Norbit, Nutty Professor stuff. And then
go ahead.
Oh, the one that made me laugh, kind of like the Luis Guzman one. I want to see Willem Dafoe, dude.
That's terrifying.
I just want to see it.
I feel like he would just constantly look like he's gonna eat those kids.
Just let me see it.
I've seen him. He's done drag before.
No.
Yeah.
In what?
In Boondock Saints.
Oh,
you just look up.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time.
Yeah. It's a scene. Okay, let's think about comedians here. Now, who does like impressions and stuff?
Frank Caliendo.
Frank Caliendo, okay. I don't really want him in this movie.
Jamie Foxx does really good impressions.
Okay, do you think that Jamie Foxx would be good in this? He might be.
I honestly do. Yeah. His impressions are so good.
That's not bad. Jamie Foxx is pretty good.
Now I see you're thinking on it. I'm gonna get better.
Yeah, no,
better than Willem Dafoe.
No, you came up with the Stu thing. That's pretty good. I try and get cute and clever with it every once in a while. I just felt like Rashida Jones is Sally Field, would be Sally Field. Like,
I think that's my favorite of yours.
Yeah, I think she's perfect. Bill Hader. I thought Andy Samberg. Honestly, maybe
that could probably work. I think I like Hader better though.
Yeah. I was just kind of going down that SNL rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Could Sudeikis or Charlie Day or Jason Bateman do this?
Bro, I would love to see Charlie Day try to pull this off. I would love that.
Charlie Day, Mrs. Doubtfire would be incredible.
Gosh.
Let's make it happen.
I mean, they're remaking everything now, so I just saw that they were remaking a Mean Girls.
Yeah, it's the musical version. So maybe they'll do the musical version of Mrs. Doubtfire next.
they're remaking something else that was already. Oh, they're trying to remake The Longest Yard
Oh yeah, I saw
again.
that. Why?
I don't.
That's
I'm
crazy.
blown away.
Yeah, that's weird. All right. I think we did a good job. I think you're better than you think you are. You're doing
Thank you.
great. You're doing great.
Make
man.
sure my phone's not going to.
All right, let's talk about fun facts. Did you know the body count in this movie is 0?
No, unless you
But
count a
there,
face.
unless you count a face and a fruit,
And-
and a hood ornament. So that
Oh,
makes it 1.
careful on the fruit comment.
Oh yeah. So, what kind of facts did you find out that were interesting to you?
Honestly, like we covered a lot of it. I think the melting of the face, like what that was unintentional. A lot of the improv stuff, obviously, that Robin Williams did. And I think I mean, I don't even want to get into it other than the fact that I want to see the R-rated version of this that Chris Columbus says exists.
There's a PG,
That
a
is,
PG-13, and an R-rated version.
that's all I want to see in life is an R-rated version of Mrs. Doubtfire because I want to see some of these jokes that he made that they could have put in there. And I super commend Chris Columbus for like letting Robin Williams cook. Basically,
Yeah.
he would just record at different angles and be like, just go. And then the fact that he would let him do like a take on script and then a take off script,
Mhm.
like that's how you treat a guy that has talent like that.
Yeah.
That's how you make successful movies and let people play to their strengths. And he killed it.
Yeah, I would love to see like a breakdown of like, okay, this is a scene that we kept in the movie of his improv. Here's a scripted scene and it works. I imagine that a lot of like the more serious things are the scripted parts of this. So I don't know. It's good. I had this is interesting. The character Mrs. Doubtfire, so not in name, but this actual like the character of her. Was performed by Robin Williams at a show that Andy Kaufman did at Carnegie Hall. He pretended to be Kaufman's grandmother. So he had already done this character before, just not named Mrs. Doubtfire. She says the word dear 101 times in this movie. Wow. What else did I get here? He drew his inspiration for the voice after working with Bill Forsyth on a film that we'll be doing maybe next year, 1994, called Being Human. That's a Scottish director, but also drew inspiration from the voice of Margaret Thatcher and Julia Child. So interesting. And then finally, my final one, and you might have a couple extras, is Robin Williams and Sally Field did get along during the making of the film, but Sally Field did say that like he tried so much to get her to break that she would get so frustrated because like it was kind of not professional, and like she remained professional through the whole thing, never did break. But she's always been like, he's a wonderful guy, but it was exhausting to work with Robin Williams.
Honestly, I kind of get it. Like, imagine somebody at your work just trying to mess you up the entire time. Like, that'd be super frustrating.
Yeah.
While he's obviously an incredible, thanks. Well, obviously, like he's an incredible talent. That would be pretty overwhelming. I would have to decompress at the end of each day.
Yeah. And can you, I can't imagine, especially her having to be the straight man to him. Like,
yeah. And I'm glad you brought that one up because that was the only one I was going to add, other than this one that I forgot that I saw that was the dirty joke that he slipped in during all the makeup tests. When he dressed as the old Jewish woman, he says, I should never buy, I don't know how to pronounce this, I should never buy grabines from a moil. It's so chewy. And apparently, grabines is fried chicken skin, while a moil performs circumcisions. So I thought that was pretty good.
That is pretty good. I forgot about that one. All right. So you love this movie.
Clearly.
I know you do. What's something that you wish you could change? Say something bad about it.
Well, I'll say the second thing is a bit nitpicky and honestly something that a lot of 90s movies may just not have. But first I'll say like it doesn't necessarily hold up. The accents, the transphobia, the homophobia. It's not, it's not something that would probably hold up in this day and age. Like some of the stuff that they would say in the accents that he would do, especially whenever they were doing the different makeup. I was like, but kind of on that note too, like I noticed that there was like no diversity in the movie, and I was like, in San Francisco, I feel like I don't know. I feel like there would be a lot more diversity than that in real life, and there just wasn't in the movie. And I think that kind of goes back to a movie, a '90s movie thing. It just wasn't as prevalent.
Yeah, I think there's one person of color that I can think of.
Who
And
was it?
Camera operator. He was falling asleep. It's the only.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, okay, yeah,
I think
good
it's
call.
The only person in this movie. Yeah, and you're right. It is just a 90s thing, an 80s 90s thing. So, yeah, that's a good one. There is one thing that we were talking about, like accent and all that stuff. I was as I was rewatching this, I was like, Pierce Brosnan's playing a British person. He's Irish in real life, but he's playing British
I didn't know
in
that.
this. And I was like, if he was British and he met another British person, Mrs. Doubtfire, he's definitely going to be like, say something about her accent, because that is something that like about British people that they do is like, oh, where are you from? This is where you're from based on your accent. And I was
You're
like,
not from Wilfordshire, like
yeah. And I was thinking that he was never going to do it, and then he does it, and I was like, yes, this movie thought of everything. It's a bit muddled, is what he says.
I had no idea that Pierce Brosnan was Irish.
Mm-hmm.
Why do it surprises me every time that you say somebody's Irish for some reason? That's the one that always surprises me.
He's a good Englishman.
Yeah, I feel like that transition can't be like the hardest, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they're close.
I just put that Daniel is a bad husband and a bad dad. He's not a he's a loving dad, and he's a loving husband, but he's not a good husband, and he's not
probably
a good
not.
partner. He's not a good
I don't
partner.
know that he's a loving husband. I think you could say he's a bad husband.
I said like he's not a good partner, and he's not a good disciplinarian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he gets to be fun the entire time. Nobody else gets to be fun. So that's my big thing.
I get you.
And I think that like earlier, it kind of like I think it's muddier than what we villains. There's no real villain in this movie. In the way it's all right, like a fine wine and dish. If you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
Okay,
I have 4 listed. So
I got one because I feel like it checked so many boxes, and I feel like you can't go wrong with this one. Okay, and hear me out. I'm going to tell you the title, and then I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
So the movie is Jingle All the Way.
Okay.
And because what are you laughing about? You hate the movie. You thought it was gonna be something better. Okay. Oh dang it! I also love that movie. Thank you, Chet. It's because it's another father who messes up and becomes someone else to get his child's affection back. It was also directed by Chris Columbus. Ding. Stays with the comedy genre. Ding. It's close to Christmas. Ding. And it has my boy Sinbad. Ding.
Could Sinbad be Mrs. Doubtfire?
100%. I honestly might be a better Mrs. Doubtfire than Robin Williams. Objectively.
House guest.
Can we just give a shout out to house guest real quick?
Shout out to house guest for
I got plugged my phone in. Sorry, I'm on the move.
You're okay. Hear me out. You ready for this?
What's up?
My number 1 movie that I put here is E.T. Hear me out.
Is it because E.T. dressed like a woman?
Let me get there.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I fucked it up.
So it deals with a divorced mom, divorced mom. She has three children. And then this person comes into their life, ET, and kind of changes things, makes them all better people, dresses up like a woman at one point. I don't know. I don't know. I think of Mrs. Doubtfire now more as a divorce movie and a children of divorce movie, and I think E.T. also has that children of divorce thing going for it because there's that absent father in that movie, and then E.T. kind of comes in to fill that hole in the same way that Mrs. Doubtfire comes in to fill that hole that's kind of been left open by Daniel. So E.T. is my number one choice. I don't know why. First thing that came to my mind whenever I thought about that. And Robin Williams also played an alien in Mork and Mindy, so relatable.
Honestly, I don't hate that link. I think that's a good link. I like it.
Thank you.
And random, but my mom and I have a favorite line from E.T. we like to quote, and for no reason other than the way the kid says it, and it's at the very end when he goes, "He came to me." Don't know why.
To me, it's so sweet. Oh my god, you want to talk about a movie that makes me cry? E.T. makes me cry every single time.
Fuck that movie.
What? You're a strange person. All right,
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing.
I was like, man, you should love this movie. Couple other movies that I want to talk about. This one also gives me Parent Trap vibes.
Yeah, I mentioned Parent Trap earlier.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that being a good double
Those
feature.
parents in Parent Trap are worse parents than these two parents in this movie. They completely shipped
that's a good point.
one of their children. Just like, take one.
How is that the plan?
It's so weird.
Split them.
And then I also have some gender bending,
I was wondering if you'd go that route.
Tootsie, the movie Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman, where he pretends to be an older woman and becomes a successful actress being that older woman, has to do a couple of things like falls in love with this woman, but then her older version of herself, like the old lady version, Tootsie version of her, falls in love with that woman's father, or not, doesn't fall in love, gets the father of that woman to fall in love. Chaos ensues. It's a really good movie. And then She's the Man. I want to give a shout out to She's the Man.
I knew you'd bring that up. I knew it. Alyssa demanded it. Oh, is it your favorite or Alyssa's favorite? I can't remember.
It's not her favorite. It's in there. It's like top 5 for her. Like, definitely.
Okay.
Cinderella, the Brandy Cinderella is her number one.
Oh, that's one of Bria's favorites too.
Yeah. We just watched a documentary, like a 60 minutes or not 60 minutes, some special thing that they did about it's like the 20th anniversary of that movie or something.
Yeah.
It was on last year. But
cool.
Yeah, we watched that. It's her number 2. There you go.
Okay. I got you. I knew that was going to come up though.
Yeah. She's the Man. It's a, play on 12th Night. So there's some mixing and dressing up as different genders in that movie. So I think it's
12th Night. What are you talking about?
That's it's a Shakespeare adaptation. 12th Night's a play.
I thought you were talking about 12th Night Shyamalan.
No. 12th Night Shyamalan. All right. On that, we have a rewatchability rating. What would you give this out of 5?
I gave it a 4 because I didn't go full 5. I think you could argue that it's pretty rewatchable, but I think you need just a little break. I don't think 5s I would give if you can watch it like straight back to back, like credits roll, you go back to the beginning. I don't think you do that here. I think you need a small break because it is a lot.
It's also 2 hours. It was a lot longer than I remembered. 2 hours and 5 minutes. I'm sure there's some fat you can cut from this. I gave it a 5 on my rewatchability.
Oh, surprised me. Okay.
I just think him riffing and doing anything funny. I can watch those clips over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So, you're not wrong in your 4. I agree with you. Like giving it a break kind of thing. Yeah, I get that. All right. What's your overall star rating?
Overall, I gave it a 4.5 because
the
movie slaps.
I give it a 3.5. I think it's a really good movie. Obviously,
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, 3.5. I think it's a great movie. Watch it with your watch it with your kids?
Well, yeah, maybe.
And chat says, surprised you didn't throw in Peacock with Cillian Murphy. It's a terrible movie.
I've never heard of it. I
Yeah,
guess
you
that's
don't need
why.
to watch it. You don't need to watch it at all. Anyway, Spencer, it's been wonderful. I'm so glad that we did this. I'm so glad that you're feeling better. Is there anything that you've watched while you've been sick that isn't a children's movie that you've had to watch over and over and over again? Have you watched anything that's really stood out to you since the last time we talked?
Glad you added that qualifier. But yeah, there's I've been doing some watching. Some of it is inspired by you, but I'll mention this anyway because you always give good recommendations. Shout out to Cody's Letterboxd. If you don't follow it, you definitely should because that's where I get to watch a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally watch, and it's usually worth my while. Speaking of which, I think next on my list I want to watch is what was that called? It was that French movie that you watched.
Oh, Playtime?
Yeah, I want to watch that. It looked interesting. But no, I watched, and a lot of this is kind of going back to Halloween, but The Brood. Also watched, since we watched Carlito's Way, I went ahead and watched Scarface for the first time.
Which one did you like better?
I think I liked Carlito's Way just a little better.
Yeah.
Scarface was good, but I think Carlito's Way had a little bit more depth to it. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I watched You're Next. That was kind of just a Halloween mood. Southbound, same thing. Rewatched Us. Again, Halloween thing. That's 100% a 5-star movie.
I love Us.
Watched Big Mama's House 2 because why wouldn't you? I've been watching a lot of episodes of 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown on YouTube. I am in the process of finishing up Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Okay.
It's got some hit or miss. And then I haven't watched this yet, but I'm very excited to watch season 2 of a show on HBO Max, called Treinta Monedas. It's 30 coins. It's a Spanish show. It's kind of sci-fi-ish.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just really good. I would encourage you to watch it.
Okay. Some good things there. I've got a little bit of crossover with you. I watched The Brood as well. Loved The Brood. That might be my favorite Cronenberg movie that I've seen. So again, keeping up with that Halloween theme, I watched an old 1942 movie called Cat People. It's not as weird as the name suggests, but very, very good movie. I'll obviously watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's a classic to watch almost every year. Playtime, that French movie that you were talking about, by a famous French director, Jacques Tati. It's kind of like a silent movie. It's got just a beautiful set that was made just for this movie of like a downtown Paris, and doesn't really have a plot at all. So it's different. And if you are a fan of quiet movies or not a lot of plot, so a little bit of comedy in there, like some slapsticky stuff, it might be right up your alley. So I am curious whenever people watch this. I had watched a Jacques Tati movie before and I didn't really love it, but for some reason this one hooked me. So definitely watch that. Something else, let's see, Sleeping with Other People, Alison Brie and Jason Sudeikis. It's a rom-com. Watch that. And then I'm trying to think if I have anything else of note on here that I've just been dying to tell people about. I don't think so. I've ever since my 31 movies from October has been done, I've kind of like relaxed on movies a little bit. I needed a little bit of a break. Oh yeah, so I also want to bring up the insane, crazy TV show that I have started watching with Alyssa called Naked Attraction. It is a British show. It is a dating show, and it is basically a person gets to see a person in 4 different bits. So the first bit you see is from their waist down, and then the second one is neck down, and then you get to see their face, and then you get to hear them talk, and these people get to choose based on these. It is wild.
I watched
as-
the first episode because I don't know if I'd say recommended it, but you told me about it, so I had to find out. I don't know if I can watch another one, dude. That's a lot of dicks in my face, and it's tough to get over. Like always on the screen, like everything's just there.
yeah.
I don't know. It's
You
the
gotta get
concept.
you
I
gotta get
don't.
to some ladies.
Well, they had some ladies, but it was. I mean, there was a lot of both, I guess. But it was. I don't know. It's just something I'm not used to.
Yeah, naked attraction. It's not for the faint of heart, I guess. There is full
No.
frontal nudity. You might even peep a BH every once in a while because
Yeah.
some of them get crazy. It is very detailed on an HD television. I'll tell you that. So it's something.
I'm gonna start watching that one in 180p.
Oh my god, 180p.
The lowest P I could find.
There's a lot of P on that show, so
Well, yeah.
a lot of P. Again, thank you, Spencer, for everything, and I'm glad we were able to work it out. And we'll
Yeah, it's been great. Do you want to go ahead and jump into the next movie?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the next movie. And just put it off there.
I
Now,
did already watch it. I will say that.
Okay. Our next movie, before we go to the end here, our next movie is going to be a cartoon. Our basically second or only true animated film this year. It's called We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. It's a Don Bluth film, famous, for All Dogs Go to Heaven and Land Before Time, stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. It is streaming on VOD, so it's a little bit. You can actually find it though, so you can purchase it for rental from all those places. You can also search in places for We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
It's in the archives.
Yeah, just go to archive.org and search there, and you'll probably find it.
Yeah. So, Cody, what were some of the main scenes of that one that stuck out to you?
I'm not doing this with you. We're gonna have a new guest actually on Sunday. We're not doing it Sunday. I do have to postpone it until Monday. I will not be here on Sunday.
Oh, you plan on getting diarrhea?
No, diarrhea forever. No, I'll be traveling back on Sunday. So we will do it Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a new guest for this one. So somebody we haven't talked to before. It's going to be great. I look forward to talking to this person and getting to know what they like and dislike about movies. And they said they loved this movie. So we'll see how it goes. But be here next Monday. We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. Follow me on all the socials that you can. It's usually CD Waits is my socials. Follow me on Letterboxd. If you aren't following on Twitch, please give me a follow there. I think it's Quatesy52/. I'll try. I need to work on my branding. It's all over the place, but we'd love to have you here. We'd love to have you in the chat, talking to us live every week. And this will always, we're going to try and keep up with these and put these out on Spotify so you can listen to them as a podcast, a real podcast, without having to see our faces the whole time. But thank you so much, Spencer. Thank you so much, chat. It's been a great week here on 52/1993.